Welcome back everybody, really nice to see you again. It's been a couple of weeks since I last posted a video, but we can get this out and for you to have a look at something new. So what I've got for you today now is a new brand to me. It's an American brand and I haven't had much experience with some of the American brands. I haven't really had a look at it. Now this is a brand that I've seen around. I've seen them in online retailers. They've been looking at them and that they've got these in stock, and they've always seemed to have been fairly good value pens, and they always looked quite interesting, but I've never really, I don't know why or what, I don't know whether it's just I didn't know enough about the brand itself, but I never really sort of pulled the trigger and thought, let's have a look at it. However, very recently I was fortunate enough, I suppose, to be given that nudge to say, come on, have a look at this. I'm very fortunate to have a couple of very local pen stockists to me. One that is online that is very nearby, and then I don't live far from the centre of Cardiff. Well, when I say not far, I live about 15 miles from the centre of Cardiff. However, to us that live down here in the valleys, it's not that far. You know, it's the capital of Wales, and I go there probably more than I should for shopping reasons. But in the centre of Cardiff, we have two stores, and one of them I frequent quite frequently, and that one's called the Pen and Paper. I've mentioned them before, and I've given a great deal of thanks to Phil and his team there. One of them being my daughter, who also works there as well, for giving me the opportunity to loan some pens and have a try at them. And last time I went in to visit, I was shown a brochure of Conklin pens and asked what I thought, and they were considering bringing them into the store, and I had a look through the brochure and the pens looked really interesting, very impressed by the way that they looked. And as I said, I'd seen them on other online retailers here in the UK but never looked at them in any more detail. So a couple of weeks later, well literally I think possibly only a week later, I got the nod that they were in store. So I went into Cardiff last Sunday, I think it was, and called in and had a look, and I was very pleased to say that I picked up two. I've brought two home. I'm going to do them in separate videos, not in one, and I've got two of their models with me at home to look at. And I have a Conklin Duragraph, which is going to be this video, but I'm also going to be doing another video on the Conklin All-American, which is a much bigger pen. But this video here now that you're going to be looking at today, that you're watching now and you're listening to me rambling on as I always do. However, I do like talking to the camera. I do like speaking to you all actually, and sort of hoping that you sort of like the interaction bit of it, because when the camera turns around, yes, we get to see all these videos, but my bit sort of goes in a way. However, I'm going to be looking at this Conklin Duragraph, and what I was so impressed with is the price point of these. You know, this pen retails over here in the UK for about £45, and that is a good price for a cartridge converter fountain pen that is well made with a really nice high quality resin. And what I love about them, those of you that know me, I like a pretty looking pen. I like an interesting patterned pen. If it's not patterned and it's plain, I like it to be a very pretty colour. I have very few black pens in my collection. In fact, I'm not sure I have any black pens in my collection anymore. So I like a pretty looking pen, and this is what this offered me. So here's the box. This is Conklin, and you know, just looking at this box that this arrives in, £45 is really quite impressive. So I'm going to stop rambling on now because it's probably been far too long. I'm going to turn the camera around and we'll look at it in far more detail. Welcome back. Hi. So we're having a closer look at this Conklin Duragraph. So this is the box that it comes in. As I said in the intro, this is a £45 pen. And for that, I think this box is brilliant. So we've got an outer cardboard sleeve that you can see here. It's a pretty little box. And then there's this beautiful sort of navy blue with this gold decoration. The Conklin logo in the middle here. The Conklin Pen Company USA, established 1898, the legendary name for fine writing instruments. It's a pretty box, a really pretty box. And then this is it. So we've got this beautiful sort of suede-like padding on the inside, again the Conklin logo, and then here we have it here. You'll see this pen here. Let me just take this out for you to have a look at what's underneath. So as well, you get 2 international cartridges, one black and one blue, for you to try the pen out. A Conklin card, information about how to refill your pen, which is great, and then your warranty card. So we'll put that back in there, and we'll take this beauty out and put this box to the side. But really impressed with the packaging. I do keep all of my boxes. I know not all sort of reviewers or collectors do, but I do keep all of my boxes. So it is getting to a point I've actually taken over a shelf in my daughter's room in order to do that. So this is it. This is called the Ice Blue. Really like this colour. I do like blue pens. I have a bit of a thing for blue pens. So I thought I'd have a look at this one. So let me just give you sort of weights on this now. This is a 24 gram pen, so pretty standard size weight pen. Not particularly heavy, but lovely sort of pen. Measurements, it's 140 millimeters as you're looking at it now. It is 125 millimeters uncapped, and it is 175 millimeters posted. And then at the grip section, we're looking at sort of about 13 millimeters around, you know, as far as its girth. Postage, I wouldn't. Personally, it's on there, it's secure, but makes it an extremely long pen and very, very top heavy. So I wouldn't bother posting it. So let's have a look at this pen and this material. Beautiful, beautiful material. So this is a really nice handmade, well, it's a handmade resin, and it's got a beautiful sparkle to it as you move this pen around. The colours, if I come up close, the colours really sparkle in among that. I love that cut. Look. So for me, it reminds me a bit of a Parker Duofold, that sort of style pen, similar sort of size, a little bit longer actually than the Duofold. Reminds me of the sort of Pelican sort of Sauveron range. Again, standard size, standard sort of looking pen. So we've got a Conklin band around the middle here, Duragraph written there, the model of the pen. It's a very tight clip. As I say, I'm afraid to break my nails if I put my fingers under there too much. This I find quite cute and quite pretty. It's got the Conklin on the top here on the cap. Black cap, black tip to the cap after the clip band here, and then a black end. Not my favourite. I am not a fan of pens that use sort of black at the ends, but then it keeps costs down. I suppose if this was made of the same material, the pen would be a dearer pen. So if we've got this black here, I expect to see, well, obviously I know what's in here, the black grip section, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I would rather see this continue down into that. That would make this pen absolutely beautiful for me and very, very hard to resist. However, it does have a black end to it, but then it's £45, and the fact that it's still got a black end to it, I do like it. If it had a plain blue or it was this pattern carrying on, it would be stunning. But that's just me. So it's a twist cap, not too many twists, but very, very secure. We put the cap out of the way for you here. And very comfortable grip section. See, it tapers down quite nicely, and then you can sort of hold it in here. Right, nib, let's have a look at that nib. It is a big nib, and I like it so much because it's got this big nib. Two-tone nib, got the Conklin brand logo there, Toledo, USA. So this is a medium nib, which you'll see there's a tiny little M, just about to see on the side there. But the nibs are interchangeable. I noticed that while I was in the store. You can take the nib out of here, it just screws out of here, and you can change it very much like you can with the Pelican 200s or the any of the Pelican ranges, where you can untwist the nib very carefully, obviously because it is a nib that you don't want to break, and put it into another one. let me just open that up, let me know. There we are. Cartridge converter pen. And what I really like about this, do you know what, I only discovered these types of converters when John Twist sent me my pen very recently. It's international cartridges, or it comes with the converter as well, which is great. But the converter has got threads on it, just here. So that converter goes in and is then therefore extremely secure in there. No chances of leakage in there, brilliantly secure. Holds fairly, decent amount of ink. Let me just show you how this writes. I'll do a writing sample. I have been very impressed with it, but nib wise, as I said, this is a medium. They also come with you can also have a fine or a broad with it. There isn't an extra fine option, which to me is a bit of a disappointment. However, I have found that they do write on the sort of finer side of things. Not as much as a Japanese fine would, but it's not an unpleasurable experience for me. And this is a medium, which is unusual. I never go for a medium nib pen, but I am considering sending over the money rather than sending the pen back so I can keep this here. But as I say, classic designed looking pen. This has been around since 1923. And they've just updated it, and I'm very impressed with it. It comes in lots of different, some other colours as well. I like this. This is £45 here in the UK. I got this from the Pen and Paper. They're available online. I'll put a link below for you to have a look at that. But considering this comes with a cartridge converter, it takes international cartridges, which is always a good thing. So you've got much more choice as far as ink's concerned. If you are, if you do prefer using cartridges, then it's great to sort of look at. But let's just do a quick writing sample for you to see. So this is the Conklin Duragraph. This is a medium nib. And this is ice blue, the pattern on this one. And if you're interested, this ink, this is Pelican Turquoise. Offers some beautiful shading. Among my favourites. Very smooth writing steel nib. Has a bit of bounce to it as well, and has, you can see there, a little bit of flexibility. Let me go in close there for you to see. Look at that. A fair bit of flex in there, which gives a really nice opportunity for shading. I haven't had any issues with this nib at all. It is a medium nib, it's slightly too wide for me. I think if I was going to keep it, I'd probably swap it out for a fine. But just for purposes of comparison, I'll show you the fine. So this is a medium. I'm going to be doing a review of this separately. Oh, I already have. No, I will be doing a video of this separately, because this is the All-American, but this has got a fine nib in it. And this is a fine, so there is a fair difference between that. The medium is a smoother nib, it's a bouncier nib. If I go in there a little closer, no, it won't go any closer if I bring that up. You can see the difference between that line width. It's fairly significant. I do prefer the fine nib, but that's entirely up to you and your sort of preference. If you like a broader nib, then say I could imagine that the broad nib would be very nice and juicy. So they never sit like, do they, like that? This is Conklin's Duragraph. I've been really quite impressed for the price point that we have on this. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Any comments, leave it below. But otherwise, please subscribe, and I'll see you all again shortly for another video. Bye!